I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
The boy is mine.
Let's go, Chris! Let's go!
Oh, John Moran just broke the rim with that finish.
Defense, take that ball! Defense, take that ball!
Jared with a rejection.
Give me that!
Moran digs at it, knocks it away. Picked up by Pippen. Bob, Brandon Clark.
On that rim!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the University of Memphis football facility. Look at this. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for a full day of University of Memphis conversation, because that's what we're doing out here today. Season opener right around the corner. Brendan Lewis, the starting quarterback, has been named to the Johnny Unitas watch list. I'll tell you exactly what that means momentarily. We're going to have a good time today. Got a lot to get to. First, let me set the schedule for you. In about 15 minutes or so, around 10:15, Dr. Ed Scott. He's the athletic director here at the University of Memphis. He's going to sit right here in this chair in between me and Bennett, and I'll talk to him for a good long while about all things University of Memphis. We'll talk football, basketball. I'm going to ask him about the baseball program. We'll talk about that Big 12 headline that surfaced last month. Ed Scott, athletic director, University of Memphis. He's going to be with me in about 15 minutes. When I finish talking to Dr. Scott, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Arch Manning spoke publicly yesterday for the first time about his grandfather, Archie Manning, insisting recently that even if Arch is projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, he will not enter the 2026 NFL Draft. Arch Manning spoke yesterday. He said, yeah, I haven't really made up my mind about that yet. Interesting story. We'll dive into it in about, 40 minutes or so. More bad news for the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham. Caitlin Clarkson Forster, she's out for the year. That stinks. Unfortunate for the WNBA franchise in downtown Indy. I'll give you more details. We'll do that in the 3rd segment. Former number 1 overall pick NBA draft John Wall has formally announced his retirement from the NBA. In an alternate universe, he could have been a Memphis alum. We'll talk John Wall. We'll do that in just a bit. Rory McIlroy said he bought more than 1,100 Masters flags earlier this year after winning the Masters down in Augusta, Georgia. Spoke at length about that victory and what it meant to him yesterday. It was interesting contrasting the way he talks about these accomplishments with the way, say, Scotty Scheffler talks about his accomplishments. I'll tell you what I mean. We'll do that a little later on in the show. And next year's dates for the FedEx St. Jude Championship They have been announced. There was some speculation that maybe, just maybe, the dates could move. I guess they've technically moved, but not earlier in the calendar, actually later, still in August. I'll give you the specific dates. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. After that, Mike Davis, Penny Hardaway's assistant, men's basketball program, University of Memphis. He's going to join us here. We'll chop it up with him for a bit. Then we'll do GP's carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But, Big Bet Bennett, let's start with the University of Memphis because that's where we're at. This is your alma mater.
How about this? It feels good to be home. It feels good to be back home, man.
Is it nice just to set your feet on campus again?
I've actually never been in this building before. It's immaculate. Amazing.
I've been in this building before, but I've been on this property, let's just say this piece of land, for many times, dating back to, the late 90s. When I was in college, and it is wild how much it has changed over here, how much money has been invested, how much upgrades have been done to the facilities. I remember Mike Norvell not long before he exited the University of Memphis for Florida State. He had invited me to offensive coordinate in the spring game one year, and that was a terrific time. Took the family out. We had a blast. And on the day before, I guess, we came out here, and he sort of showed us around, and I just remember him having a lot of the plans that you now see as a reality. They were just plans at the time. And I remember being impressed by 2 things. One, where this was seemingly headed, but 2, that he was genuinely interested and invested in it. And I can remember joking around, saying something to him like, man, by the time this stuff is ever even here, you ain't gonna be here no more. And
it was true.
Of course it was true, because the truth is, if he was going to continue on the trajectory that he was on, if he was really as good as people thought that he was going to do great things here and then move on to the next big thing, which is exactly how it happened. But I just remember making that joke to him, and him, chuckling along as you would, but also more or less, this is at least the impression I was left with, I don't care. I want good things for this place, whether I'm here or not. I want great things here, whether I'm here or not. I want the next person, if I'm not here that much longer, to succeed and be in a position to flourish. And that's why I'm invested in this stuff. And you look around today, and it's just, dating back to the mid-'90s, late 90s, it just looks like, the grass is still green. But outside of that, nothing over here really looks the same.
No, it's crazy. Like, I graduated in 2011, and you're a
baby.
There was nothing over here in this. It's you got everything now. I mean, you've got this indoor facility, obviously the baseball stadium, a softball, the Lori Walton facility. Like, it's just, we talked a lot yesterday about improving your neighborhood.
Right.
I got a lot of discussion.
Sure did.
They clearly have done that in theirs. Like, it's crazy what this part of the campus is like now all these years later. It's awesome.
Yeah, like you sit in here, and this is the type of place that a top 25 college football program should be able to call home.
For sure.
This has not always been here, as you know, but it's here right now, and it really is spectacular. It's funny, when I walked in here, half hour ago or so, the practice is going on right behind us. We can hear everything that's going on. You'll be able to hear horns and stuff, and perhaps
it's pretty cool.
And you said that exactly.
It's pretty cool.
This is pretty cool, and it really is, because the truth is, my career has changed so dramatically over the years that I don't do things like this very often anymore. But in a different lifetime, I was, just a writer, and more specifically, early at the Commercial Appeal, or certainly when I was in college and working at the Daily Helmsman or stringing for the Commercial Appeal. My job a lot of days was to monitor the University of Memphis football program, to help Phil Stukenborg, who was a longtime and awesome beat writer, in any way that I could. And so I would spend a lot of days at football practices, first with Rip Shearer, then with Tommy West. And I just always thought it was just sort of neat. There I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I'm standing at this college football practice. And one of the things I didn't realize, because perhaps you just wouldn't unless you've ever been a football player or somebody who's around a lot of football practices at this level, I was neither at the time. I played one season of football. I think it was 8th grade. Realized I wasn't built for that. couldn't learn the plays, or at least I didn't focus enough to learn the plays. Coach got frustrated with me, and I called it a day. I said, I'm going to stick with soccer and baseball. So I had just never really been around the sport of football. And one of the things that struck me when I was out here would be like whether it was Rip Shearer or Tommy West, the head coaches are just sort of, not in all cases, but at least then, were monitoring things. They were just sort of walking around to different stations, and they just sort of monitored, and then they would just linger over to you, and like this elaborate practice is going on, and everything's dictated down to the minute. But Tommy West might be over there with us, telling stories and just hanging out. Right. And then he'd get right back into it, and it just was – everything was very structured, but there was I don't know. It was very welcoming, and I just remember those as fondly. I remember my time spent out here around football practices and stuff like that. I remember it all fondly. So it's nice to just be out here and hear the sounds again, see the sights again, and continue to get ready for University of Memphis football season that I think a lot of people are excited for. They got votes in the preseason AP poll. They are a legitimate candidate to try to represent the non-Power 4 programs in the college football playoff. They're not the favorite to do that. Boise State probably is in most people's minds, but we're going to play it on the field, and Memphis is at least on the list of schools that could reasonably shoot for that. I bet you ask Ryan Silverfield, he'll tell you that is somewhere on the list of goals, and obviously some of that's going to come down to how the quarterback position is handled in the absence of Seth Hennigan. Not a lot of college football programs get to have a starter year after year after year after year like Memphis was with Seth, but now that's all over, and there's going to be somebody playing quarterback for this football program, a different name for the first time in a while. His name, of course, is Brendan Lewis. And you sent me the story this morning, and I was about to get excited about it. And I can get excited about it if you want me to. I mean, I got my Memphis football shirt on. I can get excited if you want me to. But you sent me the story, and it was like, Brendan Lewis has been nominated. He's on the watch list for the Johnny Unitas Award.
I love a watch list.
I love
a watch list.
I said, let's go. I'm trying to get excited about Brendan Lewis, the former Nevada quarterback, before that at Colorado. But I ain't seen much other than what I could find on YouTube. Trying to get excited. A watch list will get me excited. And so then I went and looked at the full watch list. I was going to make sure Arch was on it and everybody else. And did you see how many people are on this watch list?
I did not.
Oh, buddy. First off, trivia time. How many FBS football programs are there?
Ooh. Good question.
It is a good question.
I'll say, how many FBS? I'll just go, that's probably too high. I was going to say 210.
136.
Damn.
136 is the number, and 58 quarterbacks appear on the Johnny Unitas watch list to start this season. Roughly 43% of starting quarterbacks at the FBS level are represented on the Johnny Unitas watch list. So it's expansive. You'd be more concerned if you weren't on it than excited about being on it.
Well, and I think, too,
imagine the poor guys who aren't on it. I mean, my God.
I think
there's a starting quarterback out there somewhere who's not on this list, and he's got to be really contemplating a lot of stuff.
Well, I think, too, by default, you're just going to put a Memphis quarterback on there because they've had every Memphis quarterback's had success over the past decade.
Now you're thinking whoever plays quarterback for Memphis succeeds, dating back a long time, so we're going to assume Brendan Lewis will as well. That's a good enough explanation for me. That's all I need to know. Brendan Lewis is on the Johnny Unitas watch list. The Tigers are practicing right behind us. The athletic director, Dr. Ed Scott, standing right over there. So let's take a break, sit him down in this chair, and let's visit with him. Dr. Ed Scott's going to join me next. It's the Gary Parrish Show, live from Tiger Football Practice Facility here on Grind City Media and YouTube.
Going through the draft process the first time, they give you the answers to the test. Like, this is what you need to work on. This is what you do well.
They told you.
Yeah, like they tell you.
Here's what, if you want to get drafted, here's what needs to happen.
Yeah, they tell you. So it's like, if you're not listening, it'll go right over your head. But for me, I made sure to soak up all information and everything possible so I can give myself the best shot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Speaking of Adidas, are these the Harden 10s?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess so.
From what
You guys don't sound too excited. It kind of looks like when you flush the toilet in the water.
Yeah, it's like a whirlpool.
Like a
You know,
whirlpool.
want to be phone positive.
Yeah. Want to be phone positive.
Or artists just making some paint up and they just
Looks
like phone positive.
Yeah, or a
Yeah,
thumbprint.
like-
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Did you know the Grizzlies were going to try to get up and get you?
No, I have no clue. I thought the Grizzlies loved me when I worked out because it was like super fun and everything was, just natural. We were just having a conversation. It wasn't like said, what's your favorite color and like all that stuff.
What's your favorite color?
It wasn't interview.
First date type vibe.
Yeah, it wasn't interview questions. It was just like, hey man, how you doing? Like, and it was just real easy to talk to him. It was real easy to talk to Coach Thomas.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're at the University of Memphis football facility. I'm joined now by Dr. Ed Scott. He's the athletic director here at the University of Memphis for a little over a year now, settling into the job, settling in this chair. First and foremost, just let me thank you for being here and for allowing us to be here. As you know, I'm an alum of this place, but embarrassingly, I don't get over here on the campus, boots on the ground, as much as I probably should. It's just nice to be back over here. Thanks for having us.
Well, first of all, thank you. You guys are doing us a favor, giving us a platform. So the feeling's mutual, and we got to get you back out here more. You talk about us enough.
Yes.
We got to get you back on grounds.
I talk about you enough. I would like to be boots on the ground more over here. Before we go wherever this conversation is going to go, I do want to ask you about some breaking news this morning. From the commercial appeal, Jason Munz has got the story. The University of Memphis has agreed to a new sponsorship deal with FedEx that will include FedEx branding within the end zones, a move believed to be unprecedented in college football and the NFL at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the release tells a lot of it. We're still working on the final renderings, so we'll have those probably ready next week to be able to get out. But this was the last piece of business that myself and, as I call him, Uncle Fred, but Fred Smith we were working on before his passing. Wow. And I got to give his team credit. Kirsten Brasfield, Maureen Murray, Catherine Flea, Jenny Robertson is about 48 hours after he passed, they got back to me and said, look, we know what you guys are working on. We want to get this done. And this is a way for us to shift what they were doing before with NIL over to a sponsorship so we can actually use the money legally to support student athletes. And so we also wanted to give them more value, right, for the partnership. And we thought, Fred likes to be first and he likes to do things big. And he's one of the first people I met in my lifetime when I brought an idea to him. It might not be fast enough or big enough. And so we're really excited for how this is going to support our program over the next 4 years. And as you know better than most, what's going on in college athletics, this kind of support is just instrumental. And we can't do what we do without the partnership with FedEx.
And FedEx has obviously always been there in a big and meaningful way now. And just on Fred, obviously he was, I would argue, the most important Memphian in the history of this city. And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that he was quite literally working on your behalf, on this place's behalf, and up until the day or the week that he passed.
Oh, no question. I mean, it wasn't quite. It was actually literally the day before. I mean, he was still writing letters and making phone calls. I got to say, Brad Martin, who I've been able to build a relationship, is a phenomenal supporter, as everyone knows. Richard Smith, Cannon Smith, Samantha have all been great. But you can't replace the person in Fred, right? The support is still there. But that guy could get anybody in the world on the phone with one phone call, including the President of the United States. And so the individual characteristics are going to be hard to replace. Memphis. And for me personally, as a relatively young leader running a large business, I could call Fred at any time and ask him questions. And so to have that kind of access to what I call an oracle like that, it hurt me, personally, and it's going to hurt us a little professionally. But I love the relationship we have with the Smith family and FedEx.
So I mentioned you've been the athletic director here now for a little more than a year. I think it's roughly 14 months. Yeah. Whether you go back to R.C. Johnson or Laird Veach, any of the athletic directors I've known, they will all tell you that the Memphis job is a unique job with unique challenges. What in the past 14 months have you realized about that aspect of this?
Well, first is you, right? You watch everything we do. You got a large platform, so I got to make sure I'm on top of my P's and Q's. Otherwise, I'm going to get called out. But no, a couple things. I think one, as the athletic director, you always have a platform, right, wherever you are because you're visible. But in Memphis, it means more. It's just different. It's different than Virginia. It's different than Morgan State. It's different than Louisville, where I've been, all the places I've been. The Tigers, what they mean to this community, when we're playing well, it really galvanizes the community. And plus, we're in the city, but we don't have a lot of professional sports teams, right? So the Tigers become a lot. You and I were talking before we got on air about beat writers. Yeah. We have a lot of beat writers in a small, concentrated area, and so they're all trying to carve out elbow room as well. And then lastly, I think for me, Memphis has been everything I wanted it to be, right? Everyone asks me about the job, but that's only half of it for me. I have a 6-year-old daughter who's in the campus school, right? She's invested too. My wife is from Louisville. For the record, she has no red in her closet. And when we play Louisville in basketball, her and her family will be rooting for the Tigers. But she loves it here. The food is great. The people have treated us well. And the thing I'm most proud about throughout all the success we had this past, 13, 14 months is the team I've been able to build. You can recruit some talent to Memphis. I've been able to recruit talent on the administrative side, in my humble opinion, the same way Penny or Ryan or Brooks or any of our coaches can recruit student athletes. And you never know when you take a place what people are going to think, and I've been real excited about that.
Something you said there is something I've tried to, in whatever way I can, help people realize outside of this market. It's something I've honestly told Brett Yormark at some point.
Yeah.
Memphis matters in Memphis in a unique way. Yeah. Louisville matters in Louisville, but Houston doesn't matter in Houston the way Memphis matters in Memphis.
Well said.
Or the way Louisville matters in Louisville. And I do think if there's a blind spot among chancellors and presidents at the Power 4 level, it's that. They don't understand what Memphis means here. And if Memphis is in a league with those types of league members, it will show itself well.
Oh, there's no question, right? And we have the market to do that. I mean, we've done our media evaluations, and we know where we stand, and we stand pretty darn good. And I think the other thing is Memphis gets a bad rap, and I've told our beat reporters this before. Some of the problem is them, right? It's the story we tell. And I don't hear people talking about Le Bonheur and how many surgeries they do for St. Jude or some of the other special things we have in this community. Part of my job, and you asked the previous question, is one of the things I didn't realize is the platform I have, right? There's times where I have the largest platform in this city, above the president or above the mayor, because I'm leading the Tigers. And so I think with the absence of Fred, it's incumbent upon me and Dr. Hargrave, President Hargrave, to really try to coalesce folks, because without Fred, we don't have that one person to do it. And the other thing is the corporate support. I think you saw that with the Big 12 announcement, that we have folks rowing in the same direction now. And so I think everything you said is right. I think you hit it right on the head.
It's interesting that you have recognized the opportunity to not only run the athletic department, but be a voice in this city and for this university, because it's important. And frankly, I don't just say this because you're sitting here. I've said it in your absence. You're good at it. You're good at this. You're good at telling your story and talking. And have you noticed that it resonates with people? You can get people to get on board with you.
Well, I'm chuckling because Terrence Lally, who's everywhere with me, and he's been with me since Morgan State, knows I'm actually an introverted person, man. I don't like the spotlight, but part of the reason I took this job, Gary, is when I was doing my research, when Daniel Parker and Delana called from Parker Search, I saw a commercial that said me in Memphis. And, I'm a first-generation college graduate, and we have a large population of first-gen students.
I am a first-generation college graduate in my family from here.
And Dr. Hargrave is the first in his family to graduate high school, right? And so there's commonalities. I grew up with a mom who never made more than $18,000 a year. We have a lot of folks who are Pell eligible and come from low socioeconomic status areas. And then the other thing is that Memphis has a chip on his shoulder, and that's just the way that I was raised, and because I didn't have everything, and I had to fight for it. And so for me, I think I'm able to reflect what Memphis sees in itself. And so when folks see a leader like that, they rally. To answer your question concisely, it hit me twice. Early on when I was going to Costco one day with my wife, a nice woman, an older woman, turned around and said, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And I just said, "I'm doing well." She turns back around and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby." And I learned in Memphis, when older women call you baby, you better listen. And she goes, "You're the AD, right?" And then my wife said to me, she goes, "I now know why sometimes you want to stay in the house."
Right.
And then I was going to the airport one day, and I don't always travel with logos on me. And I got stopped in the airport several times by people telling me, "Thank you for what you're doing for our city." Right. And then randomly, as I'm walking, you'll be looking at your phone and you'll just hear, "Go Tigers, go." And I'll turn around and I'll be like, "Go Tigers, go." So it's hit me in different ways. It's a platform I'm grateful for and something that I'm humble about, and I never want to take for granted because of the platform that I have.
I like that people said the words "thank you," because those are words as an alum that I have said to you in the effort that you guys clearly put together to create the big pitch for the Big 12 that surfaced last month. I've said this to you privately. I've said it publicly. Obviously, the result is disappointing. We all want to be in a better place, but I did walk away from that entire experience encouraged, because it's one thing when fans feel like they're in a place they don't want to be and nothing's being done about it. But even though the result wasn't positive, what that indicated clearly to me is that things are getting done. You're working. The president is working. The community business partners are working. And do you have a sense for whether my feelings are unique to me or, broadly speaking, true among Memphis alums and fans? I walked away from that feeling more motivated to do whatever I can do, because I know you guys are doing everything you can do.
Yeah, I think there's a couple pieces to this answer if you'll stick with me and indulge me for a second. The first is I'm a human being, man. I don't like being rejected. If I interviewed for a job and they told me no, it hurts, right? If I said anything different, I'd be disingenuous, and that's just not my style. So that hurt, right? You never want someone to tell you that they don't want you. Right. So that hurt. But I read something a long time ago that really stuck with me, man, and it's this difference between a reaction and a response. If you go to the doctor and the doctor says you're having an allergic reaction to the medicine, it's bad. But if you go to the doctor and they say you're responding well to the treatment, right? So what I had to realize was the initial reaction was that people were upset because we didn't get in, but folks like you who have reached out and others who I appreciate and I pay a lot of attention to started to respond differently and saying, wait a minute, I see what Memphis is doing. Right. The third part of that for me is I've learned, because I was an AD at 36, I was really fortunate in Baltimore at Morgan State. I've learned that I have more information than most. Right. And so while you were killing me about the Pac-12, and I was going to get you live on that
Come on.
Right? It's all good. Yeah, that's the relationship we have, and I appreciate it. Right. I had to sit tight because I also knew what we were working on. Right. And so as a leader, you have to know when you got to take it and then when you got to be out front. And it's a give and take at times. And so for me as a person, it's hard to listen to the criticism when people don't know what I'm working on. But I also know as a leader, my job is to do what's right for this institution, for the athletic department in the city, even when other people react a certain way. And I think that keeps me grounded.
One of the things you've made clear is that you're not interested in the mini jump. You want to be where you think the University of Memphis belongs. Yeah. And that doesn't mean, I don't want to speak for you, but you did very publicly reject an opportunity to join the new Pac-12. Yeah. You're thinking big, and yet the future is unclear.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what the next step is? I won't hold you to it, but you must have ideas.
Well, what I do know is what we can control is what Coach Silverfield and his staff are doing on that field, right? And I think sometimes in life, you got to have a little bit of faith, right? In anything. I always wanted to be an AD. I didn't know if I'd get there, right? It was uncertain. But if I prepared myself appropriately, when the opportunity comes, you're ready for it. And so our focus as a department is really on timing and circumstance, right? I think this situation is still very fluid. And let's be clear. The only reason why we didn't jump at the Pac-12 deal is because financially it didn't make sense. Right. The worst thing I can do, and I think you know this in your heart, regardless of how passionate you get at times, is if we make a move and then we're not successful in that move. Right now, we have a path to the CFP. I was listening to you before, right? If we win the American and we position ourselves well, we have a path to the CFP. Sure. I think we've proven with Penny in my first year together that he can have a really outstanding year. He was picked second in the league, and you saw what he did. Brooks, I mean, he's the captain of what we call the coaches union in our department, right? He's just a doozy. And so I think we're positioned, we're ripe for success. And so what I don't want to do is make an intermediate move if it's not going to position us well. So what I'm sitting back is watching the landscape, right? You're hearing noise in other conferences. I'm not going to name them about schools may want to move. And so my job is to make sure when that opportunity presents itself and the circumstance is right, that Memphis is prepared 100% to take advantage of it. And that's what I work on every day.
People ask me this question all the time. I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
Why doesn't the Big 12 want Memphis?
Yeah.
Is it academics? Is it a football stadium?
Yeah.
Is it the makeup of the city? When people ask you that question, how do you answer it? Is it complex?
I think it is complex. I think there's a lot of variables, right? I talked about the media and how they portray Memphis. That doesn't help us, right? I can't be the football stadium anymore because that thing is on time and on budget. And when your football coach walks up to you during the scrimmage and goes, hey, man, you're doing a good job. This looks really good. You don't get that a lot from your coaches, right? They always want something. And when they give you that compliment, it means something. I can't be academics anymore. We're R1, right? We set a GPA record as an athletic department last year. And Coach Silverfield and the guys on the field last year had the highest GPA for any football program in the American and won 11 games, right? So the NCAA stuff is part of that. You didn't mention it, but we've had a history with some NCAA issues, if I'm being transparent. But I think me and my team cleaned a lot of that up pretty quickly, and it ended as good as it could for issues that I didn't create or didn't happen during my watch. So when I hear those arguments, I think they're short-sighted. If I'm being fair to the presidents and the ADs in the Big 12, they've gone through a lot of transition in a short period of time, right? There's 8 teams that came into that league, and everyone's hurting for cash, and they're trying to figure out their identity. So I think some of it is maybe not Memphis, and some of it is them trying to figure out where they're at. But my hope is that everyone understands Memphis is in my opinion, and I'm biased, Memphis is the best of the rest. And when it's time that you're going to have to come calling on Memphis, and we've proven we're ready.
Well, that is something that I think people connected to Memphis have said for a while. I don't know if it's always been true. I do believe it's true now.
Yeah.
You are the best of the rest.
Yeah. Comprehensively.
Yes.
There are pockets in other places.
Right. It doesn't take me saying, like Pete Thamel would agree with me on this.
Yeah, Ross Dellinger.
They would agree with me on this.
Yeah. National spokespeople.
Yeah, who
reporters.
have no connections to Memphis. They would just best of the rest. It's probably the University of Memphis at this point. Your football program is winning. Your basketball program is winning. You were one of only 7 schools to finish in the top 25 of the AP poll last year.
The only non-P4.
What else can you do?
Well, I think we got to sustain it, right? Because you touched on this in the beginning of your question, if you will. You said, look, we couldn't always say that even though we said it, right?
Yes.
It might not always be true if I'm quoting you correctly. Right. And so now I think it's true, right? And now you got to maintain it, right? The easiest thing to do in life is achieve something and fall off. The hardest thing to do in life is be consistent. You got kids, right? And to show up every day for your children, right, when you're tired or you're frustrated, it's hard to do. And I think sometimes when we look at college athletics, Gary, we forget the transferable experiences that apply to it. So for me, we got to be consistent. We got to continue to raise money. We got to get as close to full rev share as we can. And right now our facilities can compete with anybody, right? You see what we're about to do at soccer as well. And so my position, because when I was young, I got to watch Tom Jurich at Louisville. I think you have to be comprehensively excellent, right? If we're going to do it, I want to be the best at it. And so our position is, look, if they're not going to let us in now, let's keep beating them, right? And when I took the job, I said our goal was to be in the top 25 football, men's basketball, and God willing, we did it because I didn't shoot a basket, I didn't call a play, which I would like to call some plays for Penny and Ryan, and I'm not sure they want me to. So with all that being said, I think we have to maintain, and if we maintain as the landscape shifts, I think folks are going to continue to see where we are. I think we send a shockwave through the athletic community with that Big 12 situation. People are now looking at Memphis a little bit differently than they were before that situation.
There is no question that is true. Within the past week, Bubba Cunningham at North Carolina has announced how they're going to split up their revenue share money and in a pretty clear way. He says $13 million is going to football, $7 million is going to men's basketball, and then $250,000 each to women's basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
Do you have those numbers as clearly defined yet?
We do. What I did is, I'm a strong proponent of you give people the resources to do their job, and then you evaluate how they do that job, right? I invest in the coaches, but I really invest in the programs to make sure we got the right coaches, right? If I'm going to give them money. So that's a, more tangential answer. But to answer you concisely, yeah. What I did is I asked the coaches, how much money would you need in rev share, how much money in Alston, and how much in new scholarships, because all that counts toward the $20.5 million rev share number, and it's capped at 2.5 in scholarships and capped at 2.5 in Alston, right? And then the coaches gave us back the wish list, and then what we did with the money we have available, which at our level is, from what I'm gathering, is probably more than anyone else.
Right.
We then came up with a split. I did the first draft of it. I took it to my executive team. We sat down. They beat me up pretty good. I can tell you without going into numbers, because I think it's proprietary for us, because if we set the number at the group of 5 level, I believe other people are going to try to reach
That's
that.
like, there's no question. If you tell me right now what you're giving Penny, Andy Kennedy's going to his AD at UAB and asking for as close to that as he can get.
Yeah, and my mama taught me a long time ago, you don't worry about anybody else's house, you take care of your own, right? And so that's where I want to stay. But I can tell you, if that's what they're giving women's basketball at North Carolina, we're likely giving the same, if not more.
Okay.
You've heard my comment about Kansas before, right? I know you read all the stuff I say. God bless you. We're in competition with Kansas if that's where they are with rev share. Now, they may have some additional outside money and collectives and all of that, and I can tell you that football's getting the lion's share. I've said this, and I want to say this to you because I've said it to Ryan, to Penny, to our department, and anyone who will listen. Basketball pays our bills, but football's got to be our future, right? Because if that was the case, we would have got into another conference right away.
The thing I have tried to, on that point, tell people forever, when realignment really popped off, like in the early 2000s for the first round of it, Syracuse was coming off a national championship in men's basketball with Carmelo Anthony. Nobody wanted them at the time.
Yeah.
They went, Kansas, when everybody would, it looked like the Big 12 might die, Kansas was going to be the school with no home.
Yes.
Basketball is awesome. We all love it.
Yeah.
It is not what drives where you're trying to get to.
No, it doesn't drive the revenue, but it also doesn't drive media attention. There's something about America, and you see it with the NFL, right? It's the biggest brand we have in all of sports. See, there's my guy. Look at him. Hey, get back to work. Right? But Gary, that's an example of the relationships we have, right? Relationships matter. But to answer your question directly, I think we've come up with a clear formula with football getting the most, men's basketball getting the second most, women's basketball is getting the third most, and then almost all of our other programs, and to be very candid and to drop this on your show, with the exception of track and field and I want to say rifle right now, and Terrence might correct me if I misspeak later because he's really good at that. But Brooks is getting rev share money.
Yes.
Right? I mean, men's and women's tennis are getting rev share. Gary, I want to beat you in everything.
There you go.
Like, when I get up in the morning, man, I'm looking to compete, right? I'm in the gym early in the morning. And so these coaches know that we're giving them support, but I expect results from that support. So we're positioned pretty darn well for our level.
Let's talk about that guy who just ran up. Entering year 6 now.
Yeah.
In the previous 5 years, he's 42-20.
Yep.
Nothing but bowl games.
Yeah.
Nothing but bowl wins.
Yeah.
I've nitpicked him.
Yeah.
I think most people have in this market.
Yeah.
When you frame it that way, it sounds pretty good. What do you make? And I'm not asking you to put a grade on it, but how do you evaluate Ryan Silverfield through 5 years?
Yeah, see, I evaluate them a little differently. The objective measures are easy, right? I can listen to your show and get those numbers. I don't even got to do any homework on that. I don't got to chat GPT it. I don't got to Google it, right? I don't got to do anything on that. For me, I look at the culture he's built in the program, right? Think about a guy like Seth Hennigan who could have got more money to go somewhere else and he stayed. What does that tell you about relationships with players? Look at his academics, right? He's not sacrificing academics and he's still beating you on the field, right? That means something. The discipline in his program, the behavioral issues that don't exist, all of those things matter. So when I look at Ryan comprehensively, we're similar in age. He's got twins now, right? I got a 6-year-old daughter. So for me, it's about growth, right? And I've seen you nitpick him and others, right? And Ryan knows we got to get to a conference championship. Whether we win it or not, that's his goal, and he's been clear about that. I can't put more pressure on Ryan Silverfield than he's going to put on himself, which means we got the right guy. And I think Ryan knows also if we get to a conference championship, it can position him for the CFP. And then the other thing is he's got to beat some teams above our weight class, right? And we got to do that with everybody. Penny's got to do it. Brooks just did it with Ole Miss, right? That what I talk to our coaches about after this Big 12 situation, they'll all tell you, we have 3 goals in our department. Number 1 is health and safety for our coaches, student athletes, and staff. That's got to be primary. I lost Marlon this year, and that hurt me, right? And that's a friend of mine, and that really put things in perspective. Number 2, we got to graduate these young people. This is the University of Memphis. Because you graduated, you got a good job, right? And we all got to listen to you now, right? And then when I look at the third thing, it's win, baby, win, right? And everything we do leads to those 3 goals. While everything is complex right now in our industry, what I've tried to do is simplify it for our people and say, what do we do better than anybody else, and let's double down on that. And I think, that's what Ryan's trying to do, and our hope is that starting 10 days from now on the 30th, he's going to go out there and put the first W.
You mentioned that at your level, you might be spending more than anybody else.
Yeah. From what I hear.
I understand.
Yeah.
From what I hear as well.
Yep.
Does that mean that the college football playoff should be on the list of goals for this college football program?
Even if we weren't spending as much as everybody else, it should be, right? If you don't have those goals at our level, I don't know why you're doing it, right? Like, I want to provide opportunities for young people. If I couldn't hit a baseball and run like, when I was younger, there's no Dr. Ed Scott.
Right.
So that's first and foremost. But beyond that, if we're going to do it, look at the size of the scoreboards look at that scoreboard, Gary.
Right.
Look at our facilities, right? People pay attention. And I had it explained to me best by a young man at the University of Virginia. He said to a larger group, we were in a meeting, and someone asked him why he identified as an athlete. And he was just about to graduate from UVA, right? And that's really special.
Sure.
And he said, listen, when I take an exam, nobody can tell anybody what my grade is because of FERPA, right? He said, but when I get out on that football field, I'm graded by millions of people around the world because it's on TV. So if we're going to do it, the expectation is to do it at the highest level. If we don't reach the CFP, but we win a conference championship, that's a great year for us because we haven't done it in a while, right? We haven't done it under Silverfield. So I'd rather shoot for the stars and reach the moon than set these little bars, because I think in life, a lot of people fail because they set the bar too low and reach it, and then they settle.
Yes.
I'd rather keep pushing it. And so that's what I was hired to do. When I asked him on the interview, what do you want? Dr. Hargrave was very clear, and his experience at Arkansas and Auburn, dictate how he thinks about these things. The board was clear to me about what they expect, and I think that aligned with my vision. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken the offer.
Couple more things.
Sure.
Let's talk basketball for a second. You're a little younger than me. I think 45 years old?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll be 46 in September 13th.
Okay,
man.
so right around the corner.
I got the same hair as you, too.
Early happy birthday. Is that? Do you have to shave it, or is it just go that way?
Oh, no. It started going that way. So I have a rule in life.
Same with me.
I won't hang on to anything that doesn't want to be hung on to.
Okay.
So once that sucker started going, I took her off, man. Yeah.
True story. I was watching a replay of a basketball game that I was sitting courtside at. I was working, and I was with my wife, and I see the cameras, and I see a bald spot. And I grabbed my wife. I said, "Hold, come here for a second." I said, "Is that what I look like?" And she was like, "Well, yeah." And I had no idea.
Exactly.
Boom. It's gone.
And when you first shave it, you don't know what's underneath that thing, man. It's a little scary, right? I thought I was going to scalp myself. Anyway, I digress.
Okay. So we're members of the same club. Yeah. My larger point was that puts you in an age range where you were a teenager when Penny Hardaway was becoming an international basketball star.
Yeah.
Do you have memories of him as a basketball player, you just growing up?
For sure. I mean, look, the Orlando Magic. I wore pennies back in the day.
Okay.
I don't wear them anymore because they're not the most comfortable things in the world, and they don't go well with my suits and my business attire as easy as these blazers do. But I knew all about Penny. I had followed his career. And, I got a lot of history with basketball, working at Louisville with Coach Pitino, working with Tony Bennett, Kevin Brodus at Morgan, who's a heck of a coach. So what really helped me with Penny was when folks found out that I was going to get the job, he called Tony Bennett. And he's got a lot of respect for Tony. Right. And Tony said, listen, if you're looking for an AD, this is the guy I would want if Carla Williams wasn't my AD. Wow. When you get that endorsement from Tony Bennett, right? And we live in such a small community in athletics. There's approximately 300 to 350 Division I schools, as I learned from you today, 136 FBS. Folks know each other, right? And so Matt Reiser called Brian Ryan O'Connor, who's now at Mississippi State, and Oak and I had one of the best relationships you can possibly have. So I think the word of mouth, and as I said earlier, relationships matter. I think that really helped me quickly. And I had conversations with Silverfield, with Penny, with Reiser, almost all of our coaches before I even came in for the press conference, right? I wanted to let them know, look, I'm all in. This is how I operate. What do you need? And that's what Penny and I did. And listen, it doesn't always go great, Gary. You got guys who, like me, who have somewhat of an ego, who are competitive, and there's times where we got to shut the door and get on the same page. But what I love about our coaches, they've embraced my competitive spirit, and they're willing to tussle with me to figure out how to get it right. And when you have healthy disagreement, I think it makes any relationship or organization better. If we're just placating each other all the time, man, if you just said nice things about me all the time, it would be disingenuous, because sometimes I don't do some things that you agree with. Right. And so that's how I've been able to work with Ryan and particularly Penny. What I told Penny candidly is, look, I know you can coach, I know you can recruit. What I think I need to help you with is running a multi-million-dollar organization. That's what I'm really good at, right? And I used to tell Dane Daines, and Penny would laugh all the time, Dane, you got to stop reaching out at half court. You're picking up early fouls. At one point, Penny asked me to talk to the team, right? Ryan asked me to speak to the team multiple times per year, because I think sometimes, as a parent, that your voice gets drowned out.
Yes.
And I'm young enough to know where they're at and listen to some of the same music. And if you saw me outside my work clothes, you might not recognize me, but I'm old enough to know better. And so I'm still at a space where I think they use me strategically to blur the lines with their student athletes to say, listen, this is the boss of the athletic department. This is why we're doing it. And I love that, right? And it keeps me closer to the students when they do it.
Last thing before I get you out of here.
Yeah, I'll stay here all day because I got meetings all day, and this is a lot more fun because you've been really nice to me so far.
I appreciate you being here. Obviously, in recent years, we've seen women's college basketball explode.
Yeah.
We've seen baseball become massive, particularly within the SEC.
Yeah.
This is an incredible baseball market.
I
would argue we have more baseball youth talent here than even basketball and football.
Yeah.
But, and I double-checked it this morning just to make sure I was right, I think the Memphis baseball program's been in the NCAA tournament one time since 1994.
Yeah, it's not acceptable.
You're a former college baseball player. You care about this sport. How do we get baseball to a good place here?
First thing is we got to keep talent at home, right? And look, I've been very clear with Coach Reiser, right? We got to make the American tournament, right? Like we were one series away last year, right? And so we've shared some revenue with his program, and he's been able to retain some talent, and you've seen he's brought in some talent. So I think some of it is matching resources with expectations. I don't know that's always been the case. Some of it is me helping him in recruiting, because I know baseball, I would argue, and I may be wrong, but it's probably as good as any athletic director in the country. I was on the baseball committee where I met Kathy Zelentik, who's my deputy, for regulatory affairs. So I'm always there for Reiser, but I try not to intrude, right? And so to answer your question, we have to get better. We have to get better sooner than later, and I think Reiser's the guy to do it. But we got to do it, right? Execution, where I come from, is worshipped, and I think Coach can do it, and I think with the resources we're giving them now, the expectation is that we get into that tournament, we make some noise, and then that will show folks progress, right? Because the next time you talk about it, you say, okay, look, they took a leap. Dr. Ed Scott, as you like to call me, said it. They did it, and then now we turn our sights on the NCAA tournament. And don't get it confused. There's some really good baseball in the American, right? We're the southernmost school for a lot of other things, but when it comes to baseball, right, there's some schools in the South that are really, really good. So it's not like he's playing in Cupcake City either, right? And I have to keep that in mind, with golf, too. That's another one. When you're talking to the coaches, you got to understand the circumstances that they're facing and then figure out, my goal is always to eliminate your excuse. Tell me why you can't do it. I'll give you all the things that you said you needed, so that way you got no more excuses, and now it's time to go to work, and then we'll evaluate you fairly from there.
Dr. Ed Scott, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for having us out here. It's been awesome just to, again, put my feet back on campus from a distance, just as an alum. Really impressed by you, and proud that you are the person in charge of this athletic department. Seems like it's in good hands.
I've been waiting a long time to talk to you, man, and I'm really excited we got the chance. Thank you for your kind words and the platform that you give us. The feeling is mutual, and I know on behalf of you and all the alums, we got some more work to do, and I'm going to get right back to work.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you, GP.
That's Dr. Ed Scott, athletic director here at the University of Memphis. We'll be back in just a second.
Preseason Box to Row Coaches Bowl has come out. Jackson State sits there at number 1. This is the third time in the poll's history that Jackson State has been the preseason number 1 team in the nation. And then Tennessee State being at 5, that really surprised me.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
The boy is mine.
Let's go, Grizz, let's go!
Oh, John Moran just broke the rim with that finish.
Defense, take that ball! Defense, take that ball!
So Jared with a rejection.
Give me that!
Moran digs at it, knocks it away. Picked up by Pippen. Bob, Brendan Clark.
Ooh, on that rim!
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700. The NBA announced their dunk of the year yesterday. It was voted on by the fans, and it went to Ja Morant for his double clutch through Porzingis and Derek White. The call of it was excellent. That game we hung on to for a long time last season, but it was a spectacular dunk.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. We're out at the University of Memphis football facility, and normally right now we would be doing 5 more things you need to know, but we're going to switch it up a little bit because when you have a Final Four coach just standing right over there, you're not going to make him wait and listen to you talk about Sophie Cunningham and Arch Manning. It's Mike Davis, former head coach at 4 different Division I schools, including Indiana, including UAB, now an assistant here with Penny Hardaway. Mike Davis, it's good to see you, man. How you been?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I've been great, man. It's we go back a long ways. We were just catching up here off the air. I think most Memphis fans obviously remember you from your Indiana days, but then we had some battles with the UAB back in the days. What's it like to now be here working at the University of Memphis, not too far from your hometown?
It's great. I get a chance to go back home a little bit, see my family. Hadn't been this close to home since I was a head coach at UAB. And we played UAB this year twice. And when I went back, it was like, man, I missed it here.
Yeah.
You know, I was here, but I never beat Memphis. We played Memphis the year that I think they was in the Final Four.
Yeah, with Derrick Rose
and
Chris
we had
Douglas.
the game won. The game was over, I think, with maybe 6 points with about 30 seconds to go in the game. And we traveled and did something, and then Douglas Roberts hit a 3-point play, and then we ended up losing the basketball game. But that's the closest I've come to beating them.
Was that the same game where Pierre Niles had an incident with a fan? Do you know this? Remember
Yes,
this?
it was.
It was.
A Memphis basketball player got into it with a UAB student, and there was a big thing, and it just sort of came and went. But those were some fun times back then. What do you remember about being the UAB coach coming in to say FedEx Forum and coaching against the Tigers?
Well, first of all, there's something that had to be wrong with you to get into it, Pierre Niles. That fan must have been drunk or something. But that year we played them, I remember this. We should have won the game. We feeling really good coming here. and I didn't realize it was senior night, and I think they beat us by 50. And we finished second place in the conference that year and didn't make it to the NCAA tournament just because Memphis beat us by 50 points.
Right. And so now you're here at the University of Memphis, and obviously so many conversations about college basketball are now about roster turnover and transfer waivers and NIL. You guys are sitting in a place where I think you just secured a commitment from a 14th newcomer. You expected to have another prospect on campus perhaps this weekend. What's it like trying to run a college basketball program in the year 2025 where quite literally from year to year you don't really know who's even going to be on your team?
Well, remember I coached in the SWAC, so I'm used to it.
Yes.
It's all about buy-in. Right. You know, players come in, and the difference now is they're making money, and so kind of putting that aside about making money, just focus on what your coach wants. And Coach Hardaway, I think, is a great basketball coach. He was an elite basketball player, and he has an elite basketball mind when it comes to basketball. And he does a great job of getting the guys to kind of gel together. He spent a lot of time this summer and last summer on non-negotiables. Instead of just playing 5-on-5, it was just his non-negotiables. And so now when our guys come back in August for school and we start to practice, they know the non-negotiables. Now we can start playing as a team.
You bring in 14 newcomers. The expectations, as you know here, are forever high, dating back to when I was a child. You've been in the gym with these guys. What kind of basketball team do you think you have this upcoming season?
You know, let's talk about last year first.
Okay.
We was right there, and then Tyrese Hunter goes down, and then Dante Harris goes down. So we got a starting point guard and our backup point guard. Both are down. And Baraka stepped in. We won the tournament, but when we got to the NCAA tournament, we up 8 points in the second half, going to the second half, and they just shrunk the court on us. And so they just shoot all the balls you want to shoot. We're not going to let Dane Dandridge beat us. And so it really hurt us. But this year, it's similar. We have guys that, like I said before, coached this non-negotiables this summer. And so when you come back in to the season, you will know non-negotiables. And non-negotiables are things that help you win basketball games. It's scoring points and playing defense, but it's the stick hand, the block outs, the crash, getting in the gals, being low man, all the things that coach wants us to do. They know that now, and they have to be accountable for it. And so that's why it's easier, I think, for coach to put his team together without guys knowing each other. We have talent. We are deeper this year than last year. Last year, we only had 11 guys on scholarship, and now, like you said, we have 14 so far.
You mentioned earlier about how players are now making money. That's obviously true here and all over the country. I've talked to other coaches who say some of them, it changes the player. It changes what they bring to the locker room. It changes what they bring to the court. Have you noticed paid players are different, or it's a case-by-case situation?
It's definitely different in all walks of life.
Yeah.
You know, money enhances who you really are.
Yeah.
And so the biggest difference for me is that you go on the road and they won't eat the team meals and they order Uber Eats or whatever they do. They order their own
that's
food.
interesting.
And that's kind of different for me. I'm like, why you save that money? But as far as coaching them, it's basically the same.
Right.
You know, you have guys that you have to always push. You have guys you got to do this with certain things. So from that part of it, I think it's the same from that part of it. But it's easier for them to sit out of practice or miss a game because every month they're getting $30,000, $40,000, $100,000 a month.
Yeah. One of the newcomers is a young man named Aaron Bradshaw. He's a five-star recruit coming out of high school, played at Kentucky, played at Ohio State in the Big Ten, where you were the coach at Indiana. He's now at the University of Memphis, obviously talented, but it hasn't popped for him yet the way people thought it might coming out of high school. What have you seen from him?
He's been injured a lot this summer, but if Aaron repeat and do what Dane Dandridge did last year, Dane Dandridge was a good basketball player at Baylor and Illinois. But when he got here, coach in the middle of the year just started working with Dane and Musa, and Dane bought into it, and Dane was one of the best players in the country at the end of the season. So if Aaron can realize that he's having an opportunity to be with one of the best players that ever pick up a basketball, and his development is unmatched to me because I've seen what he did with Dane last year when he took over the big guys. And so if Aaron can buy into that and just focus on that, he's got a chance to be really good basketball player here at Memphis.
You've now been working with Penny Hardaway for a little while. What's that like to work with Penny Hardaway?
I laugh all the time because my oldest son used to wear Penny Hardaway's jersey, and my wife called me one day. She's like, "Have you been putting buying shoes on a credit card?" I'm like, no. And my little son, Antoine, he was ordering shoes. He was ordering Penny shoes on his credit card. So I told Coach he owed me some shoes. But it's great, man. Coach and I have lunch together, and he's a brilliant mind, and that's what I think people miss out on. I'm really fortunate to have an opportunity to work when I worked with Coach Knight, who was a great coach, and I worked with Coach Hardaway, who was a great basketball player, and he's a great coach. And last year he had a remarkable year, 29 wins, and with the schedule that he played. To give you an example, I came in last year for an interview. He wanted me to come up, sit down, and talk to me. And I'm not sure if it was an interview or not, but he wanted to come and talk to me. And so I drove up. My wife and I, we drove up, and we sitting down, we're talking, and he wanted me to kind of like coach the coaches. You know, I'm an old guy now, so he wanted me to coach the coaches. And so he gave me the schedule. I'm like, "You playing who?"
What are you doing?
And remember, I just won one game last year in Detroit, so I was like, man, I told my wife, I don't think I'm coming up there. I can't do that again. And this year we played Baylor, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, San Francisco, UNLV, Purdue, and so. But he's great. He loves competition. He's looking forward to it.
Last thing, but before I get you out of here, you mentioned you're the old coach now, and that means you've been doing this for a long time. And obviously, I mentioned you're a Final Four coach.
Yeah.
You'll be introduced that way for the rest of your life.
Yes.
When you think back to that experience, that moment, that being so close to a national championship, what's your takeaway from all that?
Well, it was a blessing for me to be in that situation, be at a program like Indiana. I want them to go back so they can quit saying I'm the last coach that went there.
Because you are, and they just fired another coach last March.
Yeah,
Since they've never gotten back to where you got them. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I thought Mike could get them there. Yeah. To be honest with you, I wish he would have stayed. I wish he wouldn't step down, because that's a part of the job. The job is pressure. You was there around me when I was there. I was going nuts. I mean, it was like I never experienced anything like that before in my life, but it made me stronger. It made me a better coach. It made me a better father, husband, and everything. But just having that Final Four jacket, I finally got my Final Four jacket. I don't go to the Final Fours, but they're only going to give it to you if you go to the Final Four. So I had to finally go to the Final Four. I got my jacket, and it's a great memory. But the one thing about being in the Final Four, no one cares anymore. It's what have you done for me lately? And that's why I like working for Coach, because, I think that we can win the national championship here at Memphis.
Well, a lot of people would be excited if you did it. Mike, it's great to see you, man. Great to catch up. It's always been good being around you, and it's nice to have you here at the University of Memphis now.
Appreciate you having me on.
That's Mike Davis, Memphis basketball assistant on Penny Hardaway's staff. Season just right around the corner. Tigers expected to compete for another trip to the NCAA tournament. When we come back, turn our attention to 5 more things you need to know. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Let's check the over-under totals. Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all at 9.5. LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 8.5.
I love Ole Miss over the 8.5. I think Ole Miss can win 9.
But Ole Miss, they're gonna, Ole Miss, they're gonna lose to Arkansas week 3.
But they could go 9-3. Like Ole Miss winning 10 games
they always
is always
pull some crap like that.
Ole Miss winning 10 can seem a bit of a stretch, but they can win 9.
They're gonna lose at Kentucky week 2.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know. Arch Manning, grandson of SEC legend Archie Manning, spoke yesterday for the first time publicly about his grandfather's comments, suggesting that it doesn't matter whether Arch is the Heisman Trophy winner, a national champion, or projected to be the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Archie Manning said Arch Manning will not enter that draft. Arch Manning spoke about it yesterday, and you know what he said? Yeah, I don't know why my grandfather said that exactly.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
I don't really know why my grandfather said that. He actually said his grandfather called him and apologized.
Oh, that's nice.
And said I should not have said that. I was probably speaking out of turn. And then he said he also at the end of the call said the same thing he tells me at the end of every call, which is either get down or get out of bounds.
Oh, I was going to say something like, love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy is probably in there somewhere. Okay. But quarterback talking to quarterback.
Yep.
Get down or get out of bounds. That's the thing you don't have. Do you have something you say to your son every day before you drop him off at school?
Love you, buddy.
It's just love you, buddy.
Yeah. I don't always get it back.
I say the same.
Kind of hurts, too.
It will get to a point where they'll stop saying love you back.
And it hurts.
You'll say, hey, all right, buddy, I love you. And you'll get one of these.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
What?
Like my little guy, I'm his favorite person, but my older guy, he's only about to be 7. It's already starting. I hate it.
So this is something I learned with my oldest. You know, when kids are little, you hug them, you kiss them, you love them, you tell them you love them. They tell you they love you. They hug you, they kiss you. It's great. Eventually that goes away. And then it becomes like it's uncomfortable to just start starting to hug again after not hugging is a weird, that's an obstacle. And so you know what I've done with my youngest ones? My younger boys?
What?
I don't stop hugging. I don't stop telling them I love them. I don't stop embracing them. I'm just walking around hugging and telling them I love them all the time.
Me too.
I'm not going to let it go this time.
I'm not going to let it go either. That's a good way to think.
But
I'm not going to let it go
every
either.
Every day I drop my boys off at school, and the last thing I tell them before they get out of the car, I say, be smart and be good. It's the only 2 things I need from you today.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Be smart and be good. I mean, I guess I could expand on that. Be kind. I'd like for them to be kind. Be focused. But I think you just hit them with a couple things.
Yeah.
Be smart. Hey, today you're going to school. Be smart and be good. And I hope they do both of those things most days. Archie Manning doesn't say that to Arch. He says, get down or go out of bounds. But that's the way.
I mean, if my son was a quarterback,
if my son were Arch
assume
Manning, that is the type of thing I would say to my son too. I would switch it up, and I'd probably go to get down.
I guess grandson.
Or go out of bounds. So I understand where they're coming from, but it is. I didn't recognize this in real time. To get back to the story, but it is kind of weird that we just took a grandfather's word for what his grandson is going to do as it pertains to the draft. Keep in mind, when Cooper Flagg himself said during the season, this past season, that he might come back to Duke, we were like, no, you won't.
Right.
We didn't even believe him when he was coming out of his own mouth. But we all just believed Archie. about his grandson. And Arch is like, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out down the road. But why did we just take a grandfather's word for it?
Archie seems like a trustworthy figure. He's been
seems
doing this
trustworthy.
media thing for a long time now.
He
at this
seems
point.
like somebody we should be able to
yeah,
trust.
He's a trusted figure.
Man, you
in
live
football.
You live long enough, you get to a point where you can't even trust Archie Manning anymore.
Damn.
You know?
That's tough.
Didn't think I was going to get there.
I didn't think so either.
Live long enough, you get to a point you can't even trust Archie Manning anymore. But Arch, he said, yeah, we'll see. I guess we believed him because Archie exhausted his eligibility, Peyton exhausted his eligibility, Eli exhausted his eligibility, so it doesn't seem crazy that Arch would do the same thing. But Arch said, not so fast, my friend. I'll make my own decisions, and I'll make them when I'm ready. My grandfather, he can zip it. He didn't say that exactly, but that's what he meant.
Number 2.
Oh, Bennett.
What's going on?
Man.
I thought there was a scuffle going on at practice.
I was going to look back there,
No,
but I
they're
figured
just
this
telling
camera's
everybody, they're just
aiming
telling
at
everybody,
me.
get over here. We're about to break it down, it looks like.
It
I
sounded
think
like-
we're about to break it down.
It sounded like there was a little scuffle
Nah,
going on
they're
behind
just
me.
trying to get everybody in line. We're going to break it down.
Hey, speaking of scuffles.
I want to go break it down.
Go break it down, Bennett.
Nah.
Bennett, go break it down.
Someone would knock me down.
You think you'd be good at breaking things down?
What do you think would happen if I just ran out there and was like, all right, guys, let's go, get in?
They would be like.
I don't think that'd go over well
They'd
at
be like,
all, actually.
They'd be like, a Capitol stormer is on the football field.
Yeah.
They would say a Capitol stormer has approached the football
Mm-hmm.
field. They'd be startled. They'd be wondering what you're up to.
Yeah.
I'd be wondering what you're up to, for being honest.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of scuffles, guess who's out for the season?
What's going on?
More bad news for the Indiana Fever. Sophie.
MCL. She tore her MCL.
She's done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
She's expected to make a full recovery, and she seems in good spirits on social media, but it's more bad news for the Indiana Fever. Sophie Cunningham, who has become like a legitimate sports star. I don't even mean like a WNBA star. Like Sophie Cunningham is, people listening right now, I don't have to explain to them who Sophie Cunningham is. But 6 months ago, if I'd have tried to talk to you about Sophie Cunningham, you would have had no idea who I was talking about.
I think if you have a podcast, you're a star.
That might be true. But
I think if you have a podcast, you're a star. It just comes with the territory, right?
It comes with the territory.
Yeah, she's got a new podcast.
Particularly if you're tall and thin and blonde.
Exactly.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that'll help. I don't really check any of those boxes.
I do not either.
Wouldn't it be nice to be tall and thin and blonde?
Sounds great.
Like Sophie Cunningham?
That sounds amazing.
It would be amazing.
One can dream.
She's a celebrity now. She's a real star now. Everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And now she's on the mend.
I've seen people suggest that the Fever need to think about blowing it up. Not blowing up, tanking.
No, we're not tanking.
I'm sorry, we're not tanking.
No.
Or blowing it up. We still have Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, we're not blowing anything. We're not tanking.
I think people are suggesting a tank could be in order.
No.
Where are we at? Well, I mean, where are we at in the standings?
It ain't
bro?
great.
Yeah, I was going to say thing slipping.
Been slipping. Caitlin never plays. She might never play again, it feels like.
Never play again, right.
No, we're not tanking. You know what we're doing? We're gonna get in the playoffs and we're gonna take a shot with Caitlin Clark.
Are we retooling?
We're not
Don't
retooling.
Tell me we're retooling.
We're not even retooling.
Okay.
We're gonna get into the playoffs. We're gonna take a shot with Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA.
Pulling up the standings right now.
And if you don't think she's the face of the WNBA, to quote,
I mean, they're still the 6th seed.
To quote the great Sophie Cunningham, you are full of shit. No, dumb as shit. She said people were dumb as shit.
That's right.
Dumb as shit for not thinking Caitlin Clark. And now she's injured. You know, when we do the 30 for 30 Netflix Indiana Fever Caitlin Clark documentary, this whole season's going to play it's going to be a character in the documentary. But I think you just and expectations were so high coming into year 2 for Caitlin Clark. Arenas were selling out all over the WNBA. Television ratings were at an all-time high.
Highest attendance of all time this
season. And
season.
then she went down, and then her enforcer, Sophie Cunningham, went down. And it was a lost season for the Fever, but they were always destined to bounce back. And then we'll see what happens in year 3.
Okay. Hopefully they got the cameras rolling.
Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark's enforcer, done for the year. It's an MCL tear.
Number 3.
John Wall has formally announced his retirement from the NBA. Be honest. Did you realize John Wall needed to announce his retirement from the NBA?
I did think he was retired, yes. But
I thought we had done this already.
This happened with someone else recently, too, and I can't remember who it was that retired. It was like, I thought they were retired for a while now.
He hasn't played since the 2022-23 season. That, of course, is when he appeared in 34 games with the Los Angeles Clippers. John Wall, let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
Hall of Famer?
Oh.
5-star prospect coming out of high school. the star of John Calipari's first team at Kentucky that spent much of the season ranked number 1 in the country before losing.
I was going to say they disappointed in the tournament, though.
In the Elite Eight
That was Wisconsin, wasn't it?
West Virginia.
Wisconsin was later.
Yeah. They lost to West Virginia. And do you know who was among the stars of that West Virginia team?
Huh.
Boston Celtics coach, Joe Mazzulla.
How about that?
That was the big twist in that game. Hugs put Joe Mazzulla on DeMarcus Cousins. And by the way, this tells you everything you need to know about Joe Mazzulla, the coach he's kind of a weird, tough, weird guy.
Rigid, yeah.
Just
ready to. He's rigid.
He's just ready to fight all the time, it sounds like.
Yep. Did you see the picture somebody took of him on
a plane? Yeah, he looked like he wanted to fight that person.
Yes.
All right?
So good.
So at the time, you don't understand, why is Hugs putting Joe Mazzulla on DeMarcus Cousins? But now we know who Joe Mazzulla is.
That's right.
And that's why you put Joe Mazzulla. It makes more sense, given that we now know who Joe Mazzulla is. So John Wall, 5-star prospect out of high school, legendary college player. He just was. He's a first-team All-American and the face of that Kentucky team, the first John Calipari Kentucky team that I thought was the best team in the country and should have won the national championship that year. And then he's a 5-time NBA All-Star. Can we get him in the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame?
NBA All-Star. Maybe.
There are people with fewer All-Star games.
Are there?
Yes. Now, they might have championships and stuff, but.
And it does feel like that with the Basketball Hall of Fame, fame does play a little role in it. Doesn't it seem that way?
Well, what does play a role in it is your entire basketball career.
Sure.
So that's where Pau Gasol gets a lot of credit for his international.
Right.
It's where Mark might have a chance because of his international accomplishments. It's why Carmelo Anthony is a shoo-in because of all the stuff he did with USA Basketball. And he won a national championship at Syracuse. All of this stuff matters. With John Wall, injuries obviously robbed him of the type of extended all-star performances that he could have otherwise had.
Yep. He also played in the East when LeBron was running the East.
Right.
And
never really accomplished anything from a team perspective. He never appeared in the finals or won anything that mattered. I would err on the side of, I'd probably say no. He's not going to make it to the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. But he's got a case. And either way, he's an all-time memorable basketball player.
For sure.
You'll never forget
Everybody's going to know
John
John Wall.
Number one pick in the draft, won a slam dunk competition. All this stuff should matter on some level. And oh, by the way, in an alternate universe, he could be a University of Memphis alum.
Don't say that.
He was on his way to play basketball here.
He sure was.
He was going to be a Tiger. He was going to play for John Calipari.
He was stolen from us.
He was stolen. He was going to be a University of Memphis Tiger.
I did used to buy into that early on.
Oh, it was an easy thing for people to get hung up on.
Yeah.
The thing I always tried to tell people, and nobody wanted to hear it, and so whatever, but John Wall had never wanted to come to Memphis.
No, he wanted to play for Coach Cal.
Yeah. He was going to play for Cal. Cal could have been the coach at Memphis or Kentucky or Murray State or UAB. He was going to go play for UMass.
Right.
John Wall wanted to play for John Calipari. So it was just, I understand Memphis fans were upset. We lose John Calipari, then we lose John Wall. But the only reason you had John Wall was because of John Calipari. It would make no sense for John Wall to come to Memphis in the absence of John Calipari. But he could have been a Memphis Tiger, and that'll be a forever what if. What if Eric Bledsoe, Xavier Henry, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and all of those guys are at the University of Memphis 2 years removed from Derrick Rose and Chris Douglas-Roberts taking the Tigers to the title game? They would have been preseason number 1.
No question.
They would have been the preseason number 1. The Tigers would have been the preseason number 1 heading into the 2009-2010 season with John Calipari on the sideline and John Wall playing point guard. Oh, what could have been. I always liked John Wall, though. I got to know him through that recruiting process and have periodically kept up with him throughout the years. I'd see him out in Vegas every once in a while. When I would be in town and the Wizards would come through, I would try to make a point to go just to say hello. I've always he's a good dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I like John Wall. Take the basketball stuff, set it over here. I loved him as a player, particularly a college player. But I just like John Wall. My interactions with him have always been, when I talked to him, it never felt like I was talking to a basketball player. He just was always an impressive young man. Now he's an older man, but when he was young, I'm talking 17, 18, I just always found him to be impressive. And I don't know. I took to him. I liked him. And so to see the career he's made all this money. You know, he comes from a rough place. Like, he didn't grow up like you grew up. He had a hard childhood. And he's made hundreds of millions of dollars, made a real impact in that D.C. community where he was a star with the Wizards. And, he's just – he made a mark on the sport. Made a mark on the sport, and I was always a big fan. So congratulations to John Wall. He is retired, 5-time NBA All-Star, out the game. And this is the other thing. We just sort of talk about LeBron James. How old do you think John Wall is? He's retired officially now at the age of what? But understand, he's been out the game of basketball for 2 years already.
I'm going to say he's got to be around my age. I would say he's 35.
He's 34.
Yeah.
And really been out of it since 32 and really been done being a relevant basketball player for years. We just talk about LeBron like
it's crazy.
LeBron's 40 years old and still operating at a high level. And John Wall is out of the game. This is a 5-time All-Star, #1 pick. This guy was picked #1 in the draft 7 years after LeBron was picked #1 in the draft. LeBron's just a different animal.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. No.
Number 4.
Rory McIlroy.
What's going on?
Met with the media yesterday, Tour Championship down in Atlanta. And among other things, said that he bought 1,100 flags at Augusta National after he won the Masters. In other words, FedEx St. Championship out at TPC Southwind. You can go out there into the gift shop, merchandise tent.
Yeah.
And, the flags you see on the holes. Like, there's hole #1, there's hole #2.
You
got
buy
a pin,
the flags?
you got a flag, they have a flag. And you could go buy the flags. People like to hang them up in their offices.
Well, I'm sure it says Augusta National or the Masters.
It has the Masters logo on it.
That's fine.
And then like at FES,
I get it.
I have a FedEx St. Championship flag.
I'm a collector.
Yeah, I got it in my room upstairs, and kids can use them or adults can use them to get autographs and stuff and whatever. And so Rory McIlroy, after winning the Masters, he explained yesterday that they went into the gift shop wherever you could purchase something at Augusta National, and they basically said, "How many flags do you have here on the premises, like for purchase?" And they said, "Find out." They said, "A little more than 1,000. We'll take them all. We'll buy them all." He bought every Augusta National flag at the 2025 Masters that he could buy, which is in excess of 1,000, and now is, I guess, autographing them, and he could keep them, sell them, donate them. But just the second, if those are $20 flags, and they're probably $75 flags, but whatever they are, just as soon as he does this and puts it on eBay, they're worth $500, right? And now he's got 1,100. So it could be just an awesome business opportunity if he needs the money, or you could do with them whatever you want. But here's the thing that I thought was most interesting.
Seems a little selfish.
It did strike me as...
Seems a little selfish.
It struck me
Come on,
as...
man, I want a flag. Like, if I attended that thing, I want to buy a flag.
Well, too bad. Too bad, so sad. Roy got them all.
Got a green jacket, for God's sakes.
Here's what... And perhaps it's just the way the questions went, and so... I'm only reading his comments, and he was only answering the questions that he was asked. And so everything I'm about to say, in response to it, Roy McIlroy might turn around and go, "Well, I'm just sitting there, and they asked me questions, and I just answered the questions. What do you want me to do?" Fine. But every quote I read from him yesterday, not every, but most, were about winning the Masters and about reaching that mountaintop. And he's talked about this before, about what it was like to finally accomplish that goal, and that was the main thing he was reaching for, and he's finally got it. And, frankly, he hasn't been very good since he won the Masters. He's still second in points and widely regarded as the second best player on the PGA Tour behind Scottie Scheffler. But he hasn't played well since winning the Masters. And there he is yesterday, once again, talking about how great it was to win the Masters and how often he puts on the green jacket. And it's not as much as he thought it would, but he does have some trips scheduled on the books with some Augusta National members, and he's going to take the green jacket with them, and they'll put it on there. And he just was talking on, and you contrast it with Scottie Scheffler talking about the same type of stuff, and you realize these are just two totally different dudes. And I don't know who's right, who's wrong, or that anybody's right or wrong, But it was less than a month ago where Scottie Scheffler held a similar press conference and explained in great detail, when I win something, it's all I want to do is win that thing. It's all I've done my whole life is work to win that thing. Whether it's the U.S. Open, the Masters, anything. I'm in a competition, I want to win it. It is the only thing that's important to me when I'm doing it. And just as soon as it's over for me. Like that feeling that you imagine you'll have winning the Masters, that for me, this is Scottie Scheffler talking, lasts 3 minutes. And then it's over. I am on to the next thing. I don't even know how to enjoy it any more than about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I feel exactly the way I felt before I won it. No difference in me. And here's Rory McIlroy, months later, still talking about the same stuff. Still caught up in the same stuff. Again, perhaps he's got the better approach. Maybe that's the more human approach. Like, yo, man, you worked your whole life for something and you accomplished it. Sit in it. Feel it. Enjoy it. Maybe that's actually like the way to be. Yeah. But it is so dramatically different than the way Scottie Scheffler has told us he is. And I couldn't help but notice, here are the two most famous golfers in the world at this point, at least active golfers on the PGA Tour. And their approaches are just wildly different. Again, I don't know which is right or wrong, but I did have a conversation with Billy Donovan one time after he won back-to-back titles at Florida. And if you remember, he, after the second title, took the Orlando Magic job for like 3 days. And then he withdrew and went back to Florida. And that was a circus. But at some point later that summer, he and I were sitting down, and I was talking to him about that whole experience. And he said one of the things he realized is that he had worked his whole life to try to accomplish something. You know, you want to be a basketball player, so you become that. Then you want to be an NBA player. Maybe that doesn't work out. So you decide you want to get into coaching. You're an assistant. Then you want to be a head coach. You get to be that at Marshall. Then you want to be a power conference head coach. Then you get to be that at Florida. Then you want to win a national championship. You do it. You'd love to win another one. You do that. You win back to back. And then boom, it was just immediately on to the next thing, to the Orlando Magic, another climb. And he was like, I just felt like I was running from joy, running from success. I've just right now accomplished my dreams, and I'm not even going to be here to enjoy it. I'm just going to run off to the next thing. And he said that is more than any other reason why. It wasn't because he didn't want to go to the NBA, and you know where his career is now. He's in the NBA. It was like, I need to sit here and enjoy this a little bit and not run off for the next challenge every time I accomplish something. I don't think that's the way I want to live my life. So Billy's approach seemed to be more like Rory's approach. Appreciate what you do. But it's so different from Scottie's approach, which is do it and then get on to the next thing and forget about the last thing because it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. They'll tee it up tomorrow and try to decide the Tour Championship over the next 4 rounds. But I just thought those comments coming from Rory McIlroy yesterday just illustrated an incredible difference between he and the guy who is favored to win the Tour Championship. That, of course, is Scottie Scheffler.
Number 5.
And real quick, the dates for the 2026 FedEx St. Jude Championship are now set. Remember, there was some speculation, and perhaps that's all it was, like just baseless speculation, that maybe, just maybe, the FedEx St. Jude Championship could be moved to a different part of the calendar. One theory was that you move it out of the playoff, but you make it a signature event, so it's still got the big purse connected to it.
Yep.
So all the big players would still come here because there's so much money at stake, plus the hospital, plus FedEx. But you just do it earlier in the calendar as opposed to in August when the heat index can reach 110. There was some thought maybe you take it all the way back to May. And frankly, as a spectator, I think that would be awesome, just because your temperatures are different in May than they are right now. But you do have Memphis in May to deal with. The NBA season is ongoing, at least the playoffs aspect of it. So there would be more competition for eyeballs and attention and ticket buyers and all of that stuff. But just from attending the event experience, it'd be nicer if it, wasn't 110 degrees outside. But the headline from yesterday, no movement. It is technically going to be later in August than it was this year, but it's still going to be in August and still will represent the first round of the FedEx.
And I like it in August. I like it in August just because not only from obviously locally, if you're going, it's going to be hot, right? I get that. But man, nationally, like Memphis getting that attention, you're not getting more attention than in the middle of August or late August. Like, you're the show in sports. There was nothing else on. That was what you watched that weekend.
You did get the sense that on that Sunday afternoon, even though Scotty fell to the side a little bit and Tommy Fleetwood couldn't hold on, and what we got was a fun, but certainly not what we wanted, playoff between J.J. Spawn and Justin Rose. It still felt like if you were watching sports on that Sunday afternoon, that's probably what you were watching. You were tuned into TPC Southwind. In May, that is not what you would be tuned into.
No.
You would be tuned into an NBA playoff game.
That's right.
On Sunday afternoon, you'd probably be watching an NBA playoff game. So there's that. I think there's pros and cons with it. We can debate it and argue it another time. All you need to know for now is it's a non-issue for now because the tournament's going to stay in August, at least through next year. FedEx St. Jude Championship, TPC Southwind. Once again, first round, FedEx playoff. Be back with GP's Carryout.
The boy is mine.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
The boy is mine.
Let's go, Grizz, let's go!
Oh, John Moran just broke the rim with that finish.
Defense, take them ball! Defense, take them ball!
Jared with a rejection.
Give me that!
Moran digs at it, knocks it away. Picked up by Pippen. Bob, Brendan Clark.
On that round!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
We get to the main event. And you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes me off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're at the University of Memphis football facility. They wrapped up practice out there. Everybody looks hot and tired.
Yeah.
That's the way you're supposed to look at the football practice, right?
Yeah.
Supposed to look hot and tired. Everybody looks hot and tired.
They're getting after it today.
Chris Vernon Show coming up at noon. Memphis football coach Ryan Silverfield among the guests expected to join him. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, Bennett, you sent me a story this morning. I didn't throw it in 5 more things, but I thought it'd fit right here. As of last night, the WNBA has smashed its attendance record for a single season. More than 2.3 million fans have attended WNBA games this season. That breaks the previous record, and there's still a month to go in the regular season. Congratulations to the WNBA. That's what you were trying to say.
That? Isn't that pretty good?
It's obviously pretty good. I would take it a step further and say excellent, and also encouraging given that Caitlin Clark's barely played this year. Angel Reese has been hurt. Those are...
She's back. She came back last night, I believe.
Yeah, but she's been out.
Yep.
And those are two of the more celebrated, talked about, discussed athletes in that league. And one of them is on a bad team and has been injured. The other one has barely played.
Yep.
And yet the league is still smashing attendance numbers. In San Francisco, that ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese.
How about the Valkyries, man?
They're filling up that arena all the time. And so this league has really gained some traction. It is Caitlin Clark largely who has opened up this new world for the entire league. But the league is now flourishing even in her absence. She can get people's eyeballs on it, but now people's eyeballs are just on it. And we are, at least on some level, paying attention to it every day. You and I, touch on the WNBA multiple times a week in a serious way, not just to like make jokes and talk about sex toys and that kind of stuff. Like in a serious way, we will talk about the WNBA multiple times a week, and that's just not something that had normally happened.
That's right.
The league has changed. It's bigger and better than ever, and these attendance numbers are just the latest example of that.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you to Major League Baseball, Bennett.
Oh, boy.
You ready to pick a baseball game? Oh, you had a rough one last night.
What?
You don't even know.
Oh, dude.
You don't even
know
know.
what?
You do whatever you want.
I think we should void last night.
Why would we void last night?
Because the Liberty beat the Minnesota Lynx, and that was the original game, but you did it on the wrong day, and I got that one right.
Okay. I'm going to meet you in the middle. We're not going to void your loss from last night.
You're going to give me the win.
But I'm going to give you that win.
Okay.
Because you did pick that game.
I like it.
You just picked it a day early. So the past 2 days, you have picked 2 games. You got one right. You got last night wrong.
I'll take it.
Last night, Aces 74, Dreams 72. You had the Aces minus 2.5. You lost it by a hook.
Damn.
But I'm going to give you that other win right now. I'm going to update your standings. That puts you at plus 4.2 units on your career. Tonight, it's Brewers and Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Okay.
NL Central Showdown. Brewers are 79-47. Best record in baseball, Bennett. Milwaukee Brewers. Cubs are 72-54. 7 games back of first in the NL Central, but in control of the top wild card in the National League. Milwaukee tonight, they go on with 23-year-old rookie Jacob Misiorowski. He, of course, was the controversial All-Star Game selection because he had barely pitched at that point in his career. 6'7", throws it really hard. He's 4-1 with a 3.89 ERA. It's going to be the 9th start of his career. The Cubs are countering with Colin Ray. Brewers minus 110, Cubs plus 100. First pitch, Bennett. We're going to do it tonight, 7:05 p.m. live from Wrigley Field. How you going to act?
So the Brewers, they had a makeup game. This is a longer series than normal because they had a makeup game. The Brewers blasted them in the first game, and then the Cubs won 3 straight. So I think I'm going to go Brewers here, even with the rookie. They've been so awesome.
They are so awesome. They smacked the Mets around last week. Bennett said lay your money.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brewers.
With the rookie,
Why can't
Jacob
I say that right?
Misiorowski. Say it one more time.
Brewers.
If you notice, every time I talk about Caitlin Clark, I either just say she's injured or sidelined or has a soft tissue injury.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I can't say growing injury. I struggle with that
insane.
word. Growing. I struggle with that word. It's a weird word for me.
It's kind of
growing. Caitlin Clark has a growing injury. I struggle with that word.
Never heard that word before in my life.
You say it.
Groin.
Caitlin Clark has a
groin injury.
Growing injury.
Groin.
I feel like Glorilla. You know how they try to get her to say words and she can't say them?
That's a wild one, dude.
This must be
I've never heard anyone say it like that.
This must feel like Glow feels when they try to get her to say words. I can't say it. Caitlin Clark has been sidelined with a growing injury. How do you say it? Say it. You say it. Growing. Why can I do that?
That's odd.
Like, I'm not exaggerating. This is something I am.
Go get that checked out.
I need to go get it checked out.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But, like, I talk about basketball for a living.
You got to know that word.
There's always somebody sidelined with a soft tissue injury.
Yes,
and
specifically the groin.
I'm really good at saying soft tissue.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue.
That actually sounds more professional anyway, so I think you can get away with it.
Caitlin Clark sideline. See how professional I sound right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Bennett, I've been enjoying the WNBA season. They've obviously smashed attendance records. There's still a month left in the season. They've already broken their all-time season attendance record. So that's great. I'm having a good time. But it's hard not to notice or be as excited as you otherwise would be in the absence of Caitlin Clark, she's been sidelined, as you know, for a while now, weeks, with a soft tissue injury. Sounded pretty good.
Good.
But I would like to be able to use the other word. Just can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on it. All right.
Good. Yeah. What are we watching on TV?
Hey, I don't mean to double up on you, but I want to circle back to America's team, the Gambler and his Cowboys.
I watched the first episode.
I did
night.
too. What did you think?
It was. I'm intrigued. I'll finish it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
I was a little worried because, you're getting all the access to Jerry and his son and everything. So I was like, man, they're going to sugarcoat this thing. But I didn't really notice that at all watching it in the beginning. So
and here's the other thing. I just didn't remember that. The way I remember him taking over and firing Tom Landry.
Uh-huh.
I do not remember it all happening like that.
I know, so quickly. I don't either.
I just don't.
Well, I mean, I wasn't born, but
the same thing happened.
Point taken.
The same thing happened with me with The Last Dance. There was like this part in The Last Dance documentary, the Chicago Bulls documentary, where like Dennis Rodman in the middle of the NBA Finals just goes to
the NWO.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodman was NWO and Karl Malone, I think, was just like a.
Or no, maybe it was he went to Las Vegas like in the middle of the season, just took a leave of absence to go party in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I have no recollection of that. But that's like a big thing that happened, and I just didn't. That was not in my memory. And I had that moment last night with this. For people who don't either weren't born or don't know otherwise, this 44-year-old, 46-year-old, I think it's 46, from Arkansas, hits it on a well, like he's going broke. He says he's $50 million in debt. He's broke. And he has one last shot with this well. It's like buying a scratch-off card.
It was so funny hearing him talk about it, too.
It's like buying a scratch-off card at the Mapco and being like, this is my last.
He's like, it just started gushing.
He's such a good talker. He just sounds, he's just great at it.
Yeah.
You saw the scene in Landman.
Yeah, I did. Yep. I didn't watch this, but I watched that scene.
He should win a Golden Globe for that scene. It was so good.
Give Jerry a Golden Globe.
So good. And last night, as he was gush. He just talks. He talks. He's Arkansas. So it's crazy. He's going broke. He's got like one scratch-off ticket left. It's this oil well. And it's like, if this hits, maybe we're okay. If it doesn't, it's lights out for us. And it probably wouldn't. Men like him, they go 75 million in debt. They figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, it hits. He gets $100 million for that well. I think he said he spent $800,000 on it and turned it into $100 million. And coincidentally, at the same time, the Cowboys were going up for sale. And he was like, it's always been my dream to buy the Cowboys, and I just did it. And suddenly it's like this 46-year-old hick from Arkansas is now the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And literally the first thing he does, even before he has they fire Tom Landry. Look, this iconic coach, been there 3 decades. Yep. They fire him. It's like introductory press conference. Tom Landry is fired. Jimmy Johnson is the new coach. This all happened at the same time. And Jerry, I thought this was interesting. He said, I did not understand the optics on that. It's a real mistake. Because I was just excited. I'm the owner of the Cowboys. I'm bringing Jimmy Johnson. And I didn't.
Just won a national championship. Yeah.
I was like, let's go. I didn't recognize. Like, I'm also ending Tom Landry. That's like, I don't know that R.C. Johnson properly understood what it was like and how to go about firing Larry Finch. And Jerry Jones, by his own admission, didn't understand what it was like and how to go about firing Tom Landry. And he's like, it should not have been done that way. The way I did it is not the way it should have been done. And he said he still wears that to this day. Like, he messed that up. But that was all fascinating to me. I thought that like, we watched the first episode last night, and I thought it was.
Yeah, I'll watch the whole thing. For sure.
I am now interested in watching the whole thing. And like, my buddy, like Jason D. Williams, is a close friend with Jerry Jones. They're both from Arkansas. Jason plays piano. He's played, multiple Super Bowl parties with the Cowboys. But like, I was around Jerry Jones when I sat in his box at a Cowboys-Titans game in Nashville one time. Like, I sat with Jerry Jones and watched Monday Night Football. Me and Jerry Jones sat like me and you right now and watch football together. And I found him to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
I know he's a questionable owner, Not everybody's a big fan, particularly how he's handling some of this Micah Parsons stuff and whatever, but he's a compelling figure. I found him to be a nice guy in the brief time I was around him, and the documentary was good last night. 8 parts. It's on Netflix. It dropped 2 days ago. Or maybe no, it dropped yesterday was the first day. Yeah. I couldn't knock out all 8 episodes, but I did get through the first one, and I thought it was compelling. Good stuff. I'll keep going. It's on Netflix right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
Dribble Handoff posted today over at CBSSports.com. This week's question: name a college basketball non-league game that you're looking forward to this upcoming season. I went with Kansas and Duke in the Champions Classic.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's not only 2 blue blood programs, it's also 2 blue blood programs in Madison Square Garden, and then Darren Peterson and Cameron Boozer. Peterson, #1 ranked high school player in the class of 2025. Cameron Boozer, son of Carlos Boozer, #3 prospect. So 2 of the top 3 prospects in the country. 2 of the top 3 players expected to be picked in the 2026 NBA draft. They'll be on the court against each other. And it reminded me as I was writing about it, in December 2007, also at the Garden, this time for the Jimmy V, Memphis and USC got paired against each other strictly because of the presence of Derrick Rose
and OJ
Mayo. And so they played against each other at the Garden. I went back and looked at that box score. They combined to go 9 of 29
I was
from the
going to
field.
say, I remember that being a terrible game. Yeah.
Terrible. It was like 64-60, 62-58.
Yeah, it was so hyped, yeah.
So hyped. Neither star played like a star. Neither team played well. The Tigers won, but then Derrick went on to be the #1 pick in the draft, and then OJ was the 3rd pick in the draft.
Yep.
And right now, based on most mock drafts, that is how this would go. Darren Peterson, #1. Cameron Boozer, #3, with AJ Devanza right in between them. So if you want to read that and get a idea about some other compelling non-league games on the college basketball schedule this upcoming season, you can find that. It's available right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is going to be Thursday, so we'll be back in the normal studio. Michael Wallace, Grind City Media, going to join me. I'll talk NBA with him. Should be fun.
This was fun, man.
Special shouts to Doctor. I'm coming home. It's nice to be back out here.
Let me touch the helmet real quick.
Put the helmet on, Bennett.
Love it.
It's nice to be out here.
It's like I work with your headset, buddy. It was fun, though.
Special shouts to Dr. Ed Scott for joining us, Athletic Director, University of Memphis. Final Four coach Mike Davis, now a Memphis basketball assistant. He was here with us as well. Thanks to the University of Memphis and also everybody behind the scenes, Darnell, Jenna, everybody for helping us set this up over here. Like, I got the easy job. I just got to read some emails, remember the gate code, put on a headset, and start talking to people. Everybody
Shout
else
out Robbie, Sean, and crew.
Everybody else got to set up cameras and lights and tables and everything else. So appreciate everybody who was involved out here. Chris Vernon show coming up next. He's going to start right around noon. I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.